Hello, I'm Kintai Chi Lee, and today is the third lesson that I want to share in my six-part series of the Into Crisis, Onto Champion by Building Characters. We have talked about in the first week about in order for to change, in order for to embrace transformation in our life, we need to first of all adopt a growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset. And then the week after that, we talk about the 5 characters that we need to build in order for us to become a champion, even when we're facing crisis. And we talk about the first character is joy. Today we talk about second character, patience. But first of all, let's have a recap over what it means to have a growth mindset. We talk about embracing challenges. We talk about when we face setback, we are being persistent and we will not give up. And in terms of efforts, growth mindset will put in every effort and view every effort as a path to mastery. That none of this will go fruitless. And we learn from criticism, we learn from feedback, and most important of all, also, we engage ourselves in a community that is safe and inspiring and engaging and encouraging. And with that, we will have a growth mindset to accept whatever challenge, whatever difficulties in our life, while trying to change, while trying to build this different character into our life. We have definitely entering into a new world. A new world where it is a fast-paced society. One of the burger outlet is offering this. In 60 seconds, it will serve you. If not, you get a burger free. In Singapore, we even have this. Japanese buffet. Where you are be given 60 minutes to eat with that price. And you can finish that buffet in the 60 minutes. They'll put a clock over and your takeaway, the timing will just keep on going and going. And then when 60 minutes is up, you will ring and then you have to pay your bill and leave. It's a fast-paced society. With computers now, we're talking about AI, we're talking about fast-speed processor. We definitely have entered into a new world where we want everything fast and quick. We expect efficiency, we want fast result, we want to get things done on the dot. And that's what it is today, a new world. We therefore cannot tolerate slowness. And in fact, some of us will view slowness as a weakness. We cannot stand waiting. We cannot stand queues. It's like, wow, this is taking too long. Our laptop is performing slow. We're like, how can it be? When you look a video onto a Facebook and it's slow, you say, wow, this is unacceptable. We cannot wait. Time is precious. Are you suffering from this hurry sickness? That you want everything fast? That you cannot wait? And therefore, we have come to, a lost world of patience. People are losing this this character of being patient. It's a lost jungle out there. Today, it is so hard sometimes to find people who really, really patient. Let's learn from two ancient words from Greek. You know, ancient Greek have two words that represent patience. The first word was macrothomia. Macrothomia, and the other word was hapomo. You know, there are two different words to represent the same thing, patient. Why is it so? Because the first word represents a self-restraint, which will not allow you to react immediately to a wrong. That is also patient. Hapomo, on the other hand, is about a temper that does not succumb under suffering. So you can see that these two aspects of patience. The first was the type of patience where you do not, that you are patient in respect to an individual, to a person. That when someone wrong you, do not retaliate. And the second is putting up with things or circumstances. Therefore, the opposite will be this. Macrothomia, the opposite will be a revenge. When someone did something wrong to you, you feel like, I'm going to get even with that person. I will get revenge. And the opposite of hapomo will be cowardly or dependency. It's like, I'm coward, I am scared, I do not persist, I do not endure. So there's two kinds of patience. So today we're going to talk about these two kinds of patience. Firstly, we're going to talk about patience that we mentioned, the second type. The type of patience where we will not, surrender under hard situation or difficult times, but instead we will endure. We will endure with patience, and so we're talking about patience in trials. I don't know whether you heard about this story. A Chinese farmer get a horse, which soon ran away. A neighbor says, "Now that is bad news." The farmer replied, "Good news, bad news, you can say." The horse come back and brings another horse with him. "Wow, good news," you might say. The farmer says, the farmer gives the second horse to his son to ride it. Then it thrown and badly breaks his leg. "So sorry for your bad news," says the concerned neighbor. "Good news, bad news, who can say?" the farmer replies. In a way or so, the emperor's man came and took away every able-bodied young man to fight in a losing war. The farmer's son is spared. Now you say, good news, isn't it? Of course. Now, it's easy to resonate about this ancient story, about this farmer. It resonates so much with me in times because sometimes we see that this world is so much of bad news. But seriously, bad news or good news, we do not know. Sometimes we just have to be patient and wait. Because we don't know what seemingly is a good news might be a bad news. What might be a bad news might be a good news after all. So do we have this patient in trial that even when bad times, can we be able to say that this is really a bad news? We never know. So why can't we be patient? And when we are patient, we can make better decision. We will not let our emotion come in and for to make decision that is based on emotion that might be wrong. So it's so important for us to develop this character of patience, especially in hard times, that we will be patient in trial. Because good news or bad news, we can't really tell. Let's watch a video about timing. Would it be great if we can have perfect timing in everything? That wow, there's a perfect timing. Throw this and everything going in perfect timing. Will it be great? But we know things are not like this in reality. So we can ask yourself this, can it be later and not now? Some of us do not have this patience when trials. We're like, I'm now doing something else. Can it be later? I just get frustrated when something unexpected happen while in the midst of doing something else. I recall an incident when we decided to install some CCTV cameras around our house premises. And I remember calling the contractor and say, hey, let's do it as fast as possible. Can you come to, when's the best time I can come? And the contractor said, on Saturday. And I said, can you make it a bit earlier? I want it to be done as soon as possible. And he said, okay, I'll come tomorrow. Now that was sudden. My wife was like, it's a weekday. It's Tuesday. It's like we could be busy, and yeah, why can't we just settle on Saturday? I said no. I just want it to be done as soon as possible. And since they are free, we just do it. The contractor are free. And interestingly, after we installed the camera on Tuesday, on Wednesday, the immigration officer came for a surprise house visit. This is to confirm that I'm staying locally, because they want to grant me my spouse visa, and to make sure that that I get my visa, and it's a visa under my wife name. And it's like, hey, just to make sure that I'm really here, staying here in the country, and so that they can grant me the spouse visa. And it was a surprise visit. And the the interesting thing is that we don't have a doorbell, and there's no way we know that they are at the door and at the gate. But because of CCTV, we installed the TV, and so from the TV we actually saw them coming, and I opened the door, and it was perfect time. And can you imagine that if we installed it on Saturday and they came for a surprise visit, we would have totally missed them, and I will not be able to get my spouse visa approved. Can it be later and not now? We do not know what is best. Some say, why the delay? Can it be now or later? Not later. It's like we want it now. We lost patience when things are slow, and we want it now. We need to have that patience in time of trial, because in hard times, unexpected things will come. Things will happen not the way we want it to happen. And when we least want it to happen, it happened now, and we lost it totally in our temper. And sometimes, what we want it to be done, but because of situation, it cannot be done so, and we getting so frustrated. Today, we need to be patient in trial. The second patient that we're going to talk about is patient with one another. We know about how thoughts, affect our behavior, and our behavior affect our feelings. And our feelings will in turn affect our thoughts. Now, for example, in courtship, or when you're just falling in love, before you leave your home, leave your house to meet your girlfriend or boyfriend, and you're like, wow, I can't wait. The thought of meeting one another is so exciting. And when you reach there and you meet one another, you give the biggest hug and the longest hug, and you feel, wow. And that's behavior. And when you hug one another and you feel so loved, you feel like, wow. And it's this loving feeling will generate more loving thoughts. And more loving thoughts will activate or trigger more behavior, loving behavior, and more behavior will be more loving feelings, and then it just go in a cycle. And you remember this picture that I showed you about our conscious mind and subconscious mind. And it's so true, and sometimes some of these thoughts are in our subconscious mind, and we are not aware of those thoughts. And these thoughts can really affect our behavior, and that influence our feeling, and our feeling can further give rise to different kind of thoughts. And when there are good thoughts and good behavior, we will generate good behavior and good feeling, and then it will be a good cycle. But sometimes we have the negative thoughts, and they are subconscious to our mind. They're subconscious to us. We do not know. And those thoughts, like for example, I let everybody down. They'll be angry at me. And then you begin to withdraw from others. And then you'll feel low and depressed. And then that gives you a thought that, yeah, I'm not a good friend. And that you start to avoid all your friends. And then you feel even more depressed. And then it becomes a cycle again. You see, this is a very harmful cycle. If we do not understand how our thoughts is affecting our behavior and influencing our feeling, and then it affects our thoughts again. And this is a harmful cycle. And patience, we lost our patience sometimes when we let all these negative thoughts come into the cycle. So it's very important for us to identify our negative thoughts. You know, when we bring our subconscious mind and, you know, we have some thoughts, we need to start thinking. Or sometimes I actually encourage people to journal down their thoughts. And so you can be able to identify those negative thoughts. And when we can identify them, we can break the cycle by choosing a right behavior. And when we choose the right behavior, we start to build, we have a behavior that builds instead of harm. And that gives us a good feeling, and the good feeling will give us positive thoughts. And then the cycle of the bad cycle will be broken. Is it true that sometimes some people say you are who you think you are? It's so true. Because it all starts from our thoughts. And if you can identify those negative thoughts and choose to do the right behavior, then the cycle will change from a harmful cycle to a helpful, beneficial cycle that builds instead of destroy. You need to learn to give thanks at all situations. By being able to have this gratitude in our life, that we can have gratitude towards many things in our life, learning to give thanks in every type of situation, it helps us to create a habit, a subconscious habit of having more positive thoughts. Now, I'm not asking us to think positively. I'm asking us to adopt and learn a habit of seeing things in different perspectives. It's like what they say, a spoiled apple in the basket doesn't mean the whole basket of apple are spoiled. Just the apple. A cup that's half full, it can be half full or half filled. Now, we're not asking us to be positive and ignore all the negative or anything. No, I'm just asking us to learn to look at things in different perspectives. You know, when we, as a perspective of a more positive perspective of things, we can choose the right behavior. And that gives rise to good feeling and better thoughts. In choice theory, we talk about the 7 deadly habits. These are the 7 deadly habits that will definitely destroy a relationship. And they are criticism, blaming, complaining, nagging, threatening, punishing, and rewarding to control. These are the 7 habits that we need to eliminate in any relationship, be it we are parent with a child or we are couples. You know, this is the habit that we need to eliminate or minimize. And in place of that, we should have the 7 caring habits. Now, I'm not saying that just one or twice or just, you know, in the blue moon that you blame one another. That's fine. I'm talking about if that is a main characteristic in your relationship with one another or with your loved one, this is definitely a habit that can destroy any relationship. And you know, this is where we need to learn to be patient with one another by identifying those negative thoughts. You know, you can see that these daily habits come from negative thoughts. And then, instead of choosing the right behavior, we choose the daily habits. And that's going to cause more negative feelings, and they're going to cause more negative thoughts. And eventually, you'll lose your temper. Eventually, you can lose your patience. We need to learn to patient with one another. Patience is actually power. Patience is not an absence of action. Rather, it's timing. It's wait on the right time to act for the right principle and in the right way. Very beautifully described. In fact, when we lose our patience with someone, we actually get into this cycle, a very harmful cycle of wanting to win. Who's right and who's wrong? When we lost our patience, we basically are in the battle of wanting to win, want to gain power. Because we lose it. But what you need to understand is, in fact, being patient has power. The patience of power is stick-to-itness, the power of persistence. When we are patient with one another, we learn to stick to it. It's like, when we take our vow as husband and wife, we say, in good time, bad times, in health or in sick bed, we were going to love one another. It's very easy to say that. It's very easy to make the vow. But when we learn to be able to stick to it and have the patience to stick to it, like a sticky pad, like a super glue, that is the power of persistence. That is where, there's power. And I know in my life story, I shared many times with people about my journey with my late wife, how we went through all the therapies, all the treatment when she had cancer, and how she passed away. It was sad, it was hard. But in order to go through that journey with her was tough. And many people heard those stories like, wow, I admire what you went through. It became a story that encouraged, that inspired, that motivate, and helping people to see, wow. Now, there's power in persistence, isn't there? When we learn to be patient and stick to it. The power of patience shows the power of serenity. That, hey, when we don't get stressed, when we don't lose it at a time of hard time, and the time when we, time of, disagreement, we can learn to take control and be calm down. Now, that is power. It's like when husband and wife, we have a quarrel or disagreement, they will be stressed. But if we can just take time and just like reflect, take time, say, hey, let's sit down, let's talk. That is power. That is power. That is a man, a woman respect. That's power in patience. There's power of acceptance. When we know that, hey, it's not about who's right and who's wrong. It takes two hands to clap. It's not about who's right, who's wrong, who's winning, who's losing. It's about the relationship. It's about what really matters. Isn't that there's more power than just losing the temper, losing the patience, and wanting to win? there's power in being patient. Some practical patient booster. During an argument, ask yourself this: which do you prefer, the right way or the effective way? When your relationship are confronted with trials, take a moment to reflect how you want to be remembered by friends and relatives when you leave this world. This might calm you down. Seek ways on how to disrupt your anger cycle. Count to 10, the most easy way, before choosing to blow the steam. Heating arguments do not lead to effective solution. You know, in Malaysia, they do a stats on divorce. The number one reason of divorce in Malaysia was due to misunderstanding. People fight, people argue, and end on heated argument, and then it became a cycle of every day, and then became a harmful habits. And yet, the source of all this thing was misunderstanding. Is that if they had sat down, talked through things, and they discovered that it was all a misunderstanding. But unfortunately, it was always too late. Learn to accept and laugh at your own flaws and foolishness. It will ease you out of tension and anxiety. In conclusion today, I want to share with you these Chinese words called 9. Patient in endurance. It is a very interesting word because in ancient writings of this Chinese character, it makes up of 2 ancient image or a picture. And the one on the left is actually a picture that represents the face. And the character on the right is that of a punishment. What happened in ancient China, in a certain era, men, prostrate men that is grown up and, they all keep beard. And what happened is that when you did something wrong, they will punish you. And of course, these are for like punishment. And what they do is they actually shave off your beard. And so for 2 years, you have to keep no beard on your face. And that's a punishment. And then when you do your daily things and you go to market, you go to a shop, or you go out to have a cup of tea, and people see that you don't have the beard, people laugh at you. People like, you did something wrong. You've been punished. It's shameful. It's not a good feeling. For 2 years, you need to endure it. And that's where this character comes from. 9. Endure impatient. In regard to the growth mindset, when you're facing trial, when facing challenges today, choose patience. In terms of setback, when you do something and it's hard and you have setback, don't let your negative thoughts stop you from trying. If you stop trying, then there's no moving forward. In terms of effort, patience need to be exercised. It's a muscle. It's a character like a muscle that you need to build. And you need to put in effort. Be it whether it's a lot of effort or some effort, but as long as you put in effort, you will, and I assure you, you will build some patience. Feedback. Take a deep breath and learn from feedback. See what people say about you, about your patience with when things are not happening, or when you are with someone. with a loved one. How is your patient like? Learn from feedback. Community, let's strive to be a church or a community that practice patience. If you're a church or any religious group, it is important for us to be in this community that practice patience with one another. Or is it in your office? Learn to practice patience. Today we talk about this, and I really hope that you can take away something from this lesson, that you can build on this patience that has more power than you ever imagined. The second character, patience, for us to be a champion in the time of crisis, and we will be strong. Thank you. And lastly, I'd like to share with you a poem. If someone pray for patience, you think God will give them patience? Or does He give them the opportunity to be patient? Today, let's have patience. Thank you.